What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video where in this one we're going to be talking a little bit about our draft picks, right? And specifically one of them, I'm going to make videos on all the different draft picks, all the different undrafted free agents. Going to do it as quickly as I can. Obviously, life gets in the way, right? Got to have time for the day job, got to have time to work out, those sorts of things. But I'm going to get you guys as much content as I possibly can to get you guys the information on these new guys joining the roster. So as we get into this one going to be about our new edge rusher from the second round, JTT, and what he's all about. Obviously, we've already had a video over Tyler Warren. We all know all we need to know about Tyler Warren. Not going to do a video on that one and continue to reiterate all the things we've heard so many times. We got the guy we wanted. We know a lot about him. So this one, again, going to be about our second round pick. If you enjoy the content, of course, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on as well, so you get notified anytime we drop any of this content. But just looking here and looking over his career, and shout out to at Sleeper Colts on Twitter, a newer Twitter account, but a good one so far. Good follow, and they put information here about the things that JTT had done in his career in 2024. Obviously, he's a three-time first-team All-Big Ten, which is pretty impressive. As good as the Big Ten's been, to be first-team All-Big Ten each of the last 3 years, really impressive. You look at what he did in 2024, 21 and a half tackles for loss, which was third in the FBS, and then 12 and a half sacks in 2024, which was tied for fifth in the FBS. And then obviously he becomes a national champion and had 6.5 sacks in the 4 playoff games. So an absolute weapon, somebody that really made an impact this year for Ohio State. Somebody that, as I went and looked at what he was able to do, like, obviously, really just finding highlights, not going to be able to find low lights. People don't really put low lights out. But just looking at him, like, this is a guy that the thing I noticed, it's not like he has, he's not a freak athlete. We usually draft these freak athletes. He's not such a freak athlete. His instincts are incredible. Just from the plays that I saw. Now, maybe I'm off base with this because, you just see the highlights. You're missing a lot of film, right? But it just seems like from what I saw, his instincts really good. Instincts in the run game. It's if he has issues in the run game and if he has issues as a pass rusher, like, instincts isn't the problem. And I think there's a developmental curve. Right, this dude, he's a dog now. This is a big body guy, 6'4", 265. This is a big body guy coming in, but he has the tools that he needs, that you can mold him into what you need to, right? And like things like footwork. You work on his footwork, you can help his lateral quickness, which is something that you want these guys to have, being able to push somebody to the boundary. Like, you can work on these things and you can get the footwork, right? You work on the footwork, you combine the footwork with the instincts and what they currently are, and the instincts continuously get better. Learn how to watch film like a pro in the NFL and the kinds of things he's going to learn. Like, this is a guy that, as somebody who played defense, really exciting prospect coming out. Somebody that, played, and I'm a Michigan fan, so he played for Ohio State. So of course, had heard the name before, but not a huge, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to like college all the time. So it's not like this was somebody I was paying attention to all the time. And then, so when I went and I saw that he had maybe the most dominant game of anybody ever in college. When you look at what he did against Penn State as a sophomore, and then shout out to Noah Compton for putting this on Twitter. This dude had this is a single game. He had 6 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 3 tackles for loss, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, one touchdown, which I believe was an interception for a touchdown, and a pass breakup that also resulted in an interception. So overall, I believe he recovered a fumble that he created. So he ends up with what, 1, 2, 3, 4, responsible for 4 turnovers and a touchdown. And he had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss, 6 dude, that's insane. That's an insane game, and to have a guy that, again, his instincts are incredible. Like his ability to be able to sniff out a screen pass and to understand what offenses are doing and what is a typical trait of a screen pass, being able to have the instinct and the knowledge to be able to recognize that and to quickly get his hands up. That's one thing I noticed, is that he can very quickly get his hands up and get in the way, whether it's getting the interception or knocking the ball away, right? The Penn State game is, its own highlight film. But when you look at other things that he had done, like, again, his instincts are just top tier incredible. And so when you look at his production and you look at the experience, and that's one thing when you give Chris Ballard credit, like we did in our last video, right? Getting guys that have so much experience and getting guys that do have production. It's not like all of our draft picks had high levels of production throughout their entire college career. But when you look at all the guys that we drafted, experience and at some point, at some level, production. And JTT is no different. Again, 12.5 sacks in a season as a college guy. He had 6.5 sacks in the last 4 games, right? The playoff games, he had 6.5 sacks. So when it meant the most, he was the best version of himself. And so coming into the NFL, adding him into the rotation is going to be great. And I meant exactly what I said. And it still holds true. If you didn't hear me say this, like when you look at JTT, this is one of those guys that coming in, you're not going to get immediate impact from week 1. He's not going to come in and be a star. But by the time we get to like middle to end of the season, that's when you're going to start to really notice JTT. That's when I think he'll become more of a part of that rotation. And by the end of the season, I think he'll be a pretty valuable piece for us. And we'll see that it's a very valuable 2nd round pick. Have a lot of faith in what he's going to be able to do. Will he be able to become a superstar in the league? Is really going to depend on him and his development. How can these coaches do to hone in on the things that he does well and to continuously put him in positions to be successful in the things that he does well? But he also needs to learn a little more of the finesse game. He needs to add some stuff and to be able to create pass rush out of more moves than what he's coming into the NFL with, which is almost every edge rusher. He is no different in that regard. Even Latu being drafted at 14. These guys, all these guys coming into the NFL, there's a developmental curve that is going to happen, right? So at the end of the day, JTT, gonna take, don't expect, right away double-digit sack seasons. But by the end of the season, I think we're going to see the future of our pass rush, Latu and JTT. I think we're really going to see that start to ascend. Whether we're in the playoffs or not, of course, that largely depends on how the quarterbacks play this season. But really excited about the defense. Really excited to add JTT. I think now we have 3 ooses on the defensive line. Love that. Ooses are dogs. They're all dogs. I don't think I've ever met an oos that wasn't an absolute dog. So enjoy having these guys. I think this is a home run pick for where we were. There were other people available, and I've seen other people talking about, oh, well, this person's available and we got this, guys. We got who we got. And at the end of the day, like when you look at these guys, of course, a lot of potential, just like a lot of these guys coming out of the draft, a lot of potential. But I do think JTT has the tenacity to be able to come in and again, make an impact for us in his rookie season, adding him to the rotation of Ebicom and Latu and Pay, Lewis being thrown in there, Isaiah Land, who's had flashes, but of course never anything too concrete to write home about. But again, really excited about the pick. I think, did a good job of going over his positives, going over his negatives, some of the things that he, lacks again, and some things that he's going to have to work on. But it's like everything that I've seen people say are his negatives are things that are coachable. That's what I like. And then, of course, some of the things that are his strengths are like some of these things definitely coachable. Some of these things, like instincts, like you got to know the game. And some people just know the game better than others. And from that aspect, not worried about JTT. So those are my thoughts on our second round pick. Like to know what you guys are thinking. You let me know down in the comments section. Of course, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that like button. Lets me know what you guys are into. And make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you continue to get notified anytime we drop any content on this channel. Of course, appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.